the enigmatic Pharaoh Ya'ammu Nubwoserre of the 14th Dynasty. Deep in the annals of ancient Egyptian history lies the reign of a pharaoh shrouded in mystery and intrigue, Ya'ammu Nubwoserre. His rule during the 14th Dynasty, approximately between 1805 and 1650 before the Common Era, marks a fascinating chapter in the saga of one of humanity's most remarkable civilizations. This era, characterized by fragmentation and political instability, offers a glimpse into a turbulent yet captivating period of Egypt's story. The setting: Egypt in transition. The 14th Dynasty arose during a time of decentralization, following the collapse of the Middle Kingdom's strong central authority. Egypt was divided, with competing rulers vying for control over various regions. The Delta region, particularly the Eastern Delta, became a hotbed for these smaller, less documented dynasties. It was within this context that Ya'ammu Nubwoserre ascended the throne, likely ruling over a portion of the Delta that served as a strategic crossroads for trade and cultural exchange. This period is often overshadowed by the grandeur of earlier and later dynasties. The Old Kingdom, with its awe-inspiring pyramids, and the New Kingdom, renowned for its powerful military and international influence, tend to dominate the narrative. However, the 14th Dynasty and rulers like Ya'ammu Nubwoserre played critical roles in maintaining Egypt's cultural and administrative traditions during times of significant internal strife. The name and legacy of Ya'ammu Nubwoserre. Pharaoh Ya'ammu Nubwoserre's name is itself a clue to the multicultural environment of his time. Ya'ammu is likely of Semitic origin, indicating connections or interactions with Asiatic populations that had settled in the Delta region. The second part of his name, Nubwoserre, is firmly Egyptian, meaning Golden Ra's power endures. This fusion of linguistic and cultural elements speaks volumes about the interconnected nature of the society he ruled. Names in ancient Egypt carried immense significance. For Ya'ammu Nubwoserre, his chosen titulary likely served as a statement of legitimacy and divine endorsement. The inclusion of Ra, the sun god, in his name would have reinforced his claim to the throne as a divinely sanctioned ruler, even in a period where central authority was fractured. His reign, challenges, and accomplishments. The historical records of Ya'ammu Nubwoserre's reign are sparse, primarily consisting of a scarab seal bearing his cartouche and other fragmentary evidence. Scarabs, commonly used as amulets, administrative tools, and symbols of power, were crucial in legitimizing a pharaoh's authority. The existence of such a seal indicates that Ya'ammu Nubwoserre maintained some degree of control over his territory and sought to uphold the traditions of Egyptian kingship. The scarcity of records about his reign may reflect either a short-lived rule or the overall decline in the production of monumental inscriptions during the 14th Dynasty. However, this lack of physical evidence does not negate the significance of his leadership. In an era defined by political fragmentation and external pressures, maintaining any semblance of governance was an achievement in itself. It is also plausible that Ya'ammu Nubwoserre faced challenges in managing a multicultural population. The Delta region was home to native Egyptians and increasing numbers of Asiatic immigrants. Balancing the interests of these diverse groups would have required diplomatic skill, adaptability, and strategic alliances. The Delta region, a land of opportunity and threats. The Eastern Delta, where Ya'ammu Nubwoserre likely ruled, was both a blessing and a challenge. As a fertile region with access to important trade routes, it provided opportunities for economic prosperity. Goods from the Levant, the Mediterranean, and sub-Saharan Africa likely flowed through this region, enriching its inhabitants and rulers. However, this same strategic location made the Delta a prime target for invasion and settlement by foreign groups. Asiatic peoples had been migrating into Egypt for generations, and by the time of Ya'ammu Nubwoserre's reign, their presence was firmly established. While some Asiatic groups integrated peacefully into Egyptian society, others sought to assert their own authority, foreshadowing the rise of the Hyksos rulers in the 15th Dynasty. Ya'ammu Nubwoserre's ability to maintain power in this volatile environment suggests a ruler who was keenly aware of the geopolitical realities of his time. Did he strengthen his position through trade agreements, marriage alliances, or military action? While the historical record remains silent on these specifics, the survival of his name in historical fragments hints at his resourcefulness. Anecdotes and speculations. One fascinating aspect of studying ancient Egypt is the room for speculation and storytelling, especially when dealing with lesser documented rulers like Ya'ammu Nubwoserre. Imagine a young Ya'ammu, perhaps of mixed Egyptian and Asiatic descent, rising to power in a court where traditions collided with emerging cultural influences. Picture the pharaoh surrounded by advisors from different walks of life, priests steeped in Egyptian ritual, scribes recording the daily affairs of the kingdom, and perhaps foreign emissaries bringing news and goods from distant lands. It is tantalizing to think of Ya'ammu Nubwoserre not only as a political figure, but also as a cultural bridge between two worlds. Some historians speculate that his reign may have included efforts to promote harmony between the Egyptian and Asiatic populations. Did he commission public works or temples that reflected this blending of traditions? Could his court have been a hub for innovation, where the ideas of two cultures merged to create something new? Historical context: the shadow of the Hyksos. The 14th Dynasty, to which Ya'ammu Nubwoserre belonged, eventually gave way to the 15th Dynasty, ruled by the Hyksos. The Hyksos were Asiatic rulers who controlled much of northern Egypt and brought new technological advancements, such as the horse-drawn chariot, to the region. Ya'ammu Nubwozerre's reign predates the Hyksos' rise to power, but the social and political dynamics of his time undoubtedly set the stage for their eventual dominance. The increasing presence of Asiatic populations in the Delta, coupled with the weakening of centralized authority, created conditions ripe for a seismic shift in Egypt's power structure. It is possible that Ya'ammu Nubwozerre's policies, whether intentional or circumstantial, contributed to this transformation. By engaging with the Asiatic communities in his region, he may have laid the groundwork for their eventual ascendance. Alternatively, his reign might represent one of the last efforts to resist their growing influence. The enduring mystery of Ya'ammu Nubwoserre. Despite the limited historical evidence about Ya'ammu Nubwoserre, his legacy endures as a symbol of Egypt's resilience during one of its most challenging eras. His story reminds us that history is not only shaped by the grand achievements of well-documented rulers, but also by the quieter, less visible efforts of leaders like him. The mystery surrounding Ya'ammu Nubwoserre invites us to imagine the world he inhabited, a time of shifting borders, cultural exchange, and political adaptation. His reign may have been brief or limited in scope, but it was undoubtedly a part of the larger narrative that shaped Egypt's evolution. Conclusion: Pharaoh Ya'ammu Nubwoserre of the 14th Dynasty stands as a compelling figure in the history of ancient Egypt. His name, artifacts, and historical context paint a picture of a ruler navigating a complex and rapidly changing world. From his multicultural background to his role in the Delta's political and economic dynamics, Ya'ammu Nubwoserre exemplifies the adaptability and resilience that defined Egypt during times of upheaval. His story, though fragmentary, serves as a testament to the enduring fascination of ancient Egypt and the layers of mystery that continue to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike. Through the lens of his reign, we are reminded of the countless untold stories that lie buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be rediscovered and reimagined by those who dare to look.